Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. In the year 1632, in the city of York, England, I, Robinson Crusoe, was born to a merchant father who urged me toward a steady life of law or trade. But my heart, restless and drawn to the sea, rebelled against his counsel. At 19, I fled to Hull and boarded a ship bound for London, seeking adventure. The sea, however, was no gentle master. A storm battered our vessel, and though we survived, my resolve wavered. Yet, youth's folly prevailed, and I sailed again, this time to Guinea, where I tasted modest success in trade. Emboldened, I set out once more in 1659, but fate was unkind. Pirates seized our ship off the African coast, and I became a slave in Salé, toiling for 2 years under a Moorish master. By cunning, I escaped in a small boat with a boy named Zuri, sailing to Brazil after a perilous journey. In Brazil, I carved out a life as a planter, growing tobacco and prospering. Yet the sea's call lingered, and greed clouded my judgment. I joined a venture to Guinea to procure slaves, a sinful trade I later rued. On this voyage, a tempest struck our ship off the Caribbean. The vessel splintered, and my companions drowned, but I, by God's providence, washed ashore on a desolate island, alone and bereft. The island, lush with greenery but devoid of human life, became my prison and salvation. From the wrecked ship, I salvaged provisions, biscuits, rum, gunpowder, tools, and sails, ferrying them to shore in a makeshift raft. I built a shelter on a hill, fortified with stakes and a canvas tent, fearing wild beasts or savages. My days were spent laboring. I hunted goats, fished, and explored the island, finding it rich in fruit, turtles, and fowl. Yet solitude gnawed at me. I kept a journal, inked with salvaged pen and paper, to order my thoughts and give thanks for my deliverance. As months turned to years, I adapted. I crafted a table and chair, baked bread from wild grain, and tamed goats for milk and meat. My Bible, salvaged from the wreck, became my solace. Reading it, I repented my past defiance of God and my Father, seeing my isolation as divine judgment and mercy. I built a bower on the island's far side, planting crops and weaving baskets, and fashioned clothes from animal skins. My life, though solitary, grew ordered, and I found contentment in my industry. One day, a tremor shook the island, unsettling my peace. Fearing collapse, I reinforced my shelter. Later, a storm drove another wrecked ship ashore. From its ruins, I salvaged more tools, a dog, and 2 cats, whose company cheered me. Yet the sight of a human footprint in the sand shattered my tranquility. Terror seized me, savages I feared had visited. I fortified my dwelling further, planting a thicket to conceal it, and kept watch with my muskets. Years passed, and my fears grew real. One morning, I spied canoes on the shore and hid as cannibals feasted on their victims. Horror and rage filled me, but prudence stayed my hand. I could not wage war alone. Instead, I prayed for guidance, trusting God's will. In my 25th year on the island, I acted. A prisoner escaped the cannibals' clutches, fleeing toward my refuge. I shot one pursuer and felled another, saving the man. He knelt before me, and I named him Friday for the day of our meeting. Friday, a native of the Caribbean, became my companion. I taught him English, clothed him, and shared my faith. He told me of his people and the cannibals' rituals, swearing loyalty to me. Together, we built a stronger life. I crafted a canoe, hoping to escape, but the seas were too treacherous. Friday's presence eased my loneliness, and I saw God's hand in our bond. We hunted, farmed, and prepared for threats, ever watchful. 3 years later, more canoes arrived. Friday and I ambushed the cannibals, freeing 2 prisoners. One, a Spaniard from the wrecked ship, and the other, Friday's father. Our small band grew, and hope flickered. The Spaniard spoke of his stranded companions on the mainland, and I sent him and Friday's father to fetch them, promising to build a boat for our escape. But before they returned, an English ship anchored off the island, a rare and suspicious sight. Mutineers from the ship had seized control, intending to maroon their captain and loyal men. I watched from hiding, then struck. With Friday, I freed the captain and his men, and together we retook the ship, killing the chief mutineers. The captain, grateful, offered me passage to England. After 28 years, 2 months, and 19 days on the island, I prepared to leave. I gathered my possessions, skins, tools, and gold from the wrecks, and bid farewell to my goats and my ordered life. Friday, loyal to the end, joined me. In December 1686, I set foot in England, a stranger in my own land. My parents had died, and my plantation in Brazil had been managed by trustees, yielding me wealth. I settled my affairs, married, and fathered 3 children, but the sea's pull lingered. After my wife's death, I sailed again, revisiting my island. I found it peopled by Spaniards and reformed mutineers, living in harmony. I supplied them with tools and provisions, then continued my voyages, ever drawn to the horizon.